this is Colin Liddell, and this is the Shortpod, a brief and succinct podcast commenting upon the events and issues of the day. And today it is the 6th of May, 2023, aka Coronation Day in the UK, okay? So today I thought I might offer a few unscripted opinions on the ancient ceremony of crowning the new king. Firstly, the thing that stands out most is that the coronation, the ceremony, all the pomp and glitz, all the bling and brouhaha, it gives Britain a much higher status in the world than it otherwise would have. There's a lot of people here in Japan who are very, very aware of Britain now, who are, given mental bandwidth to that small, remote North Atlantic island, and it's all because of the coronation and the panoply of royalty, so to speak. So that would definitely be a factor to bear in mind when people talk about the pros and cons of the monarchy. Yes, it is a bit silly, it is a bit old-fashioned, it is a bit medieval and archaic, but on the other hand, it does attract the tourists, and it does raise Britain's profile in the world. So that's definitely on the pro side. Now, the other thing that stood out was how old Prince Charles is. I think he's about 74 or 75. He's the oldest person to be crowned a British monarch. I can't think of anybody who's remotely the same age who became king. Historically speaking, most people became kings quite young, in their 20s and 30s. Probably there's a few in their 40s and 50s, but this guy's in his 70s. And we're not really sure how long he's going to stick around for. Now, with the previous monarch, Queen Elizabeth II, when she became queen, she was a young, still reasonably good-looking woman. And so the whole country got behind her. There was a big kind of tsunami of simping that really helped the royal family at that time. It kind of brought out a chivalrous instinct in the British people. They thought they had to defend their young female monarch, and so royalty got a boost from that, and it was able to use that momentum to carry itself through the next few decades, the topsy-turvy period of Princess Diana and so on. With Charles, it's a very, very different aesthetic. He's an old guy, and so they're playing it a little bit differently, I thought. One of the things I noticed was during the ceremony, Charles had a kind of hangdog expression. He was looking a little bit put upon, as if he was bearing a heavy burden. So it seemed to be an attempt to evoke people's sympathies more than anything. So they were trying to push the pity button, I felt. Poor old Charles, after waiting so long, he finally gets to be king, and he's got this big burden placed on his shoulders, like 10 years after most other people have retired. I think the royal household, they do pay attention to this sort of thing. They do try to work out a strategy to maximize the appeal or to minimize the opposition to the institution of royalty. And I think these might have been conscious decisions, but they could be completely natural as well, because he is an old guy, and a lot of things are less contrived than people think they are, although people do have a hunger to find ready explanations for this, that, and the other. I guess one more thing I should mention is the enormous amount of diversity, because what we had here was the hereditary monarchy meeting the unhereditary state. We had a ceremony that emphasized all the diversity. And of course, this is again something else that reinforces the monarchy, because Britain has, in the more than 70 years since the last coronation, Britain has become a less organically unified country. It's become full of diversity, full of different ethnic, religious and racial groups. And it's much harder to keep all these different forces and elements together. And the monarchy is clearly pitching itself as the key ingredient to maintaining unity. It's something that can appeal to Muslims, to Sikhs, to Jews to blacks and whites and this, that and the other. So the monarchy is basically sending Britain a blackmail note saying if you fuck with us, if you get rid of us, if you go all Republican on us, then you're going to basically be sawing off the branch you're sitting on, because only the monarchy can keep all this diversity unified. Anyway, that's my brief take on the coronation of Charles III. Long may he reign. Over and out.